All right, number 10. Vera is currently using 16,000 megabytes of storage on her phone, and she's deleting 22 megabytes of music each minute. Kira is currently using 11,275 megabytes of storage on her phone, and she's adding 16 and 7/10 megabytes each minute. So we have Vera and we have Kira. It says write an inequality that could be used to find the number of minutes it would take for Vera to be using no more than the amount of storage that Kira is using. So we're going to write a statement so that Vera no more than. So if it's no more than, then that means it's less than or equal to Kira. So let's look at what it says about Vera. It says she's currently using 16,000 megabytes. So I'm going to write 16,000. And she's deleting. So deleting means she's taking away megabytes. And she's taking away 22 each minute. And it says write an inequality that could be used to find the number of minutes. So that means that our variable is going to represent the number of minutes because that's what we're trying to find. That's the unknown. So she's taking away 22 megabytes each minute. We know that we're looking for when this is going to be less than or equal to Kira, which is 11,275 megabytes, and she's adding 16 and 7/10 each minute. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. It actually doesn't say we're going to solve, so we just needed to write what was being represented in the word problem. So we do not need to solve this one, but we could if we wanted to. Number 11, Xander's water bottle has 15 and 4/10 ounces of water. Xander's drinking 5/10 of water each second. Leon's water bottle has 5 and 4/10 ounces of water, and he's adding 7/500 ounces of water each second. So we have Xander, and we have Leon. It says write an inequality that could be used to find the number of seconds it would take for Xander's water bottle to have fewer number of ounces than Leon's. So fewer means less than. So we're looking when Xander would have less than Leon. All right. And it says that this inequality is going to be used to find the number of seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and use S for my variable, and that's going to represent number of seconds. So we have Xander, who starts out with 15 and 4/10. And if he's drinking, then that means his water is going to go down, right? Because he's drinking it at 5/10 per second. And we're looking for when this would be less than Leon, which he has 5 and 4/10, and he's adding 7/500 per second. So that is what our inequality would look like. Let's look at number 12. Nora has never lost a tooth, but she will receive 75 cents from the tooth fairy each time she loses a tooth. Kate has $1.25 from the tooth fairy, and she gets 25 cents each time she loses a tooth. Which inequality could be used to find X, the number of teeth? So our variable represents number of teeth that each girl would have to lose for Nora to have at least as much as Kate. So at least as much. So we want for Nora to have at least as much as Kate. So at least means she would have to have more than or equal to what Kate has. So let's go back and read about Nora so we can come up with an expression. We have Nora and we have Kate. So Nora's never lost a tooth, but she will receive 75 cents per tooth. So that's 75 cents times however many teeth she loses. That's how much money she will earn. And we're looking for when this will be greater than or equal to how much Kate has. Kate has already earned $1.25. And she gets 25 cents, so we're going to add 25 cents for every tooth that she loses. So the inequality that matches this is going to be A. All right. The last problem, we just need to solve these inequalities. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite them over here. These are just two-step. The second one is a one-step. We solve inequalities the same way that we do equations. The goal is to isolate the variable, and so we do that by doing inverse operations. So first I'm going to remove these constants by adding 6 to both sides, and we get 1/4 D is greater than 26. When you have a coefficient that is a fraction, you want to multiply by the reciprocal. When we multiply by the reciprocal, we get just 1, and then I would do 26 times 4 to get 104. So D has to be greater than 104. We can then graph this on a number line, because remember, inequalities have more than one solution. So it's going to be an open circle, meaning that D has to be greater than 104. It cannot be equal to. And then I'm going to draw my arrow to the right, showing all the numbers greater than 104. All right, the last one I'm going to go ahead and solve down here. So this is just a one step. We want to get the variable by itself, so I'm going to divide by -5. Be careful here, because sometimes when you see that negative, it makes you think you need to add, or that you need to divide by positive, or the opposite. But this is inverse operation, not the opposite sign. So if you are multiplying by -5, the inverse operation would be to divide by -5. And when we take a negative and divide by negative, we get a positive, which is what we want. Now remember the rule with our inequalities. Anytime that you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip your inequality symbol. So R is now going to become greater than or equal to 125 divided by a -5, which is -25. R is greater than or equal to -25. This one's going to be a closed circle, because R can be equal to -25. -25 is included as a solution for R, and then I'm going to point the arrow to all the numbers that are greater than -25. All right, guys, make sure you get your review signed by your parent so that you can earn those 5 extra bonus points on your test, and I hope that these videos helped.